Welcome to part 3. We've got the noisy rooks and the whinging dog at the moment. Right, so this is the sewing. We've cut out our shapes and we've punched our holes all the way round, like I showed you earlier. Okay. Now when we start the sewing, when we start the sinew, we want to take a nice good length of sinew because you don't really want to have to join it. So I usually, that's about, if you can see that, it's about my, past my shoulders in length, that. And I'll cut that off. And I've threaded it upon my needle. Now I'm going to finish this the same way as you start it. Now it's important when you stitch, the reason you must make sure you don't put your holes too close to the edge, okay, is because if you've got to put it very tight when you stitch, so it will split through and you don't want it splitting through. So you can see how tight, almost so it curls up when you're sewing it. Because if you don't, as it dries out, it splits, and then as you're shaking your rattle, you'll end up with bits of bobs falling out and coming out of your rattle. Now stitching can be exciting. You can do a plain stitch like we've just done, an ordinary running stitch. You can get a bit elaborate with it. You could do cross stitch, which means you'd go back the other way, so you've got your cross stitches all the way around. You could do blanket stitch. Now all these different stitches you could use, you can find on the internet. Just look up embroidery or I don't know, just look up stitches on there, because you can find all different sorts of stitches. So I'm going to now finish this how you start. Okay.
I'm going to start.
Oh yes. Actually, I'll finish this. Oh, right, yeah, okay. Sally is absolutely right. So I'm going to cut the piece of length that I didn't cut. We haven't rehearsed. Okay. And then I'm going to thread my needle with a big eye. I wish they were all as big as this. Good job they're not any smaller, eh? I'll put that through. Right, now to start, you're going to start it off with 4 stitches. So you're going to go through your first hole punch. Okay. So you're going to pull that through, and you're going to leave a little end like that. And I'll explain why you want to leave that later when we come to finish our rattles. So holding that as well, so you're securing it, so it's not going to pull through on you. You're going to go through that same hole without catching any others in it. Okay, pulling it quite tight as you go. 2, 3, 4. It's going to be this last one. Now on the 4th one, you're going to notice something different. When I get to nearly the end, I'm going to take my needle and I'm going to put it through that last hoop, that last circle, if you like, hoop, all right, and pull it tight so it's knotted, so it's not going to go anywhere, okay? And I'm just going to do running stitch through here. Try not to miss a hole, because it's really frustrating if you have to go around and undo it. But remember, most important is have fun while you're doing this. It's not going to be perfect. It might even be lopsided, but it's, you know, it's your medicine. This can be your healing as well, where you're putting your healing into this, and you can make each stitch a prayer. You know, you could pick up beads in between as well if you wanted to decorate it. You could pick up beads. When the boot fairs start again, you know, when we can go out and about, great getting necklaces and that and taking the beads off of them, and bracelets. You can get at boot fairs for next to nothing. So as you can see, I'm pulling that almost so tight it's curling. So that's why I'm saying you don't want the holes too close to the edge or they will rip. I'll just do a couple more for you. Okay. So you just keep going round like this, pulling it tight as you go, collecting up any beads if you want to collect beads at the same time. And you can see how tightly I've done that. Okay, so I'm going to leave that one for now, and I'm going to go on to show you, you finish it exactly the same as how you started it. I've lost my needle, or did I use the same needle? Take it. Oh, I've got a feeling that I don't know. I'll have to look for my needle. Health and safety and all that again. So I'm replugging that in there, and I'm going to finish it the same way as I started. So imagine you stitched all the way around, and the holes are punched well. You can wiggle them over if it's not quite as neat. So I'm come to the last hole again, alright? So I'm going to go in. There you go. What I didn't say, and I'll say now, is with this sinew, sometimes it gets quite thick stuff and it splits. So when you're going in and out with a needle, you want to be careful it doesn't split. So that's one. Pulling it tight. That's two, 3, and then again on the fourth one, what we're going to do on the fourth one is we're going to loop it, so we're knotting it, okay? And don't cut your extra piece off, okay? Just leave it like that. You'll see why in a moment. Just leave it like that. Okay, so you've got your head, you've stitched it. Now, some people use sand for this. I don't like using sand. I think it's a bit unmucky. So I use the wadding. And as I say, you know, even with the old pillows or anything, it's just stuffing it now. Because what we have to do at this stage is we stuff it. And the finished stuffed shape, basically, is going to be the shape of your rattle. Okay? You can use a tool or something to poke it in with. I usually use a pencil or something because you don't want to use anything sharp. The little heads that you make are a little bit more fiddly. The bigger head, whoops, that proves that we're doing it in the moment. So you'll be surprised how much stuffing you'll get in actually. And another reason you don't want it too thin, the hide, because again if it's too thin you're likely to poke a hole in it while you're doing this. But I bet you're surprised already how much stuffing I'm actually getting in this little head here. And push it down. You want to sort of fill it right out, because as I said to you before, the finished stuffed shape will be the shape your rattle will dry in. Okay. Yep, and more. A few years ago when we was out on Dartmoor doing our residential, I had this brainwave of making one big rattle. You end up getting called the cosmic turtle. It was huge, absolutely huge. It was hours of meditative human bobbins threading the lacing through, so it was done all in one piece. It was really something special. So hopefully when this is all over and you can visit, if you visit Caircrane, it hangs in our Heron's house in the corner. And ask anyone who went on that Dartmoor course if they want to make a rattle that size again. The answer's no. But it was an experience, I have to say. That's why you don't see them, I don't think, that size. Took 2 bags of sand to fill it up. So there you see. Now I've stuffed that almost as much as I can stuff it. What next, you say? Well, this is going to be the small head for this rattle, because this is going to be a two-headed rattle. So that one's going to go on there when it's done, and that one's going to go on that one. So what you do with this is getting a little dry, so I'm just going to make it a little bit wet. I'm just going to dip it in there, and I'm going to put this on the bit that's sticking out of my, going to be my handle. I'll put it on there, and I'm going to mould these bits around like that. And you see how I've moulded that around. And this bit that's dangling that you haven't cut off yet, you're just going to take it and you're going to put it tight and wind it round. This is just while it's drying, so it dries in this shape. You will understand that when we come to show you in the next clips of when we take this off, because the head's got to dry now. There you go, that's that head is connected, and then you're just going to place that somewhere to dry. With drums, we always say don't place them direct heat and that sort of thing, but with rattles like this, I would place this on my radiator if my heating's on, or anywhere where my dogs can't get it. While we've been doing this video, I've already had the carpet got chewed up, so just make sure. I'd rather have the carpet chewed up than the rattles. There we go. That completes this part, and we'll be on part 4 next time. Thank you.